Now we're going to add the last piece of our boss battle. We're going to set it up so that when the bee gets to about 50%, the entire ground floods and the player can no longer land on the water or land on the ground. They land in the water and get kind of pushed around. Let's start by just adjusting the environment. The first thing that I want to do is take my ground that's right here and just kind of lower it. Actually, let's lower the water first. Let's select the water object here. I'm going to move it down about 1 meter. So I'll hold control and drag it down. I'm going to take this one that's right at the beginning. I think I'll go down about 1, so it's at negative 5.5. And then I'm going to hit T and make it wider. So hold control and drag all the way over so that it's the same width all the way to the edge of this. What we're going to do is have this one water object come up and kind of take over the ground. Now we need to expand out the child as well. So I'll just click on it and select it. Holding control, drag it over and get it into position. It's a lot easier to do it this way than typing in the numbers there. And then I'm going to make my water a child of the bee encounter. So I'll drag it down here. Since it's part of this encounter, I'm going to make it a child of that encounter. Next thing I want to do is drag my ground down. I've got this piece of ground here, and I want to kind of give the player a little bit of an indicator that something's going to happen here. So we're going to move this piece down. Oh, let's hit W and just drag it down until maybe about just the top is there. So is this about a negative 5.25? So I think we went down about 0.75. I think that that's probably a good height, except now the grass in the background doesn't line up anymore. So let's just grab it. And we've got a couple options. I could put in a sprite here that kind of fills and matches that color, but I think I might just grab this background and move it down 1 on the Y instead. So just do like a negative 1 on the Y and get it down there so that it's below. And then if I have other things at this kind of level, they'll be fine as well. Let's now remove that second water. So I've got a water that was over here to the right. I don't need that anymore because the water now extends to it. And I can see here that I actually need to move this background down just about maybe 0.25 more. So let's go to negative 1.25. That's just right below that water line. Once I've got this lined up and had a solid position for it, though, I probably wouldn't drag it down and would just add some green sprites. But for now, I think that it's fine. It doesn't really lose anything there. We're still getting a good background view and everything looks right. The top here, however, I don't like. Right now we have this big blue, this I forget, it was a corn something blue, whatever it is. It's a blue that doesn't match our sky. So let's go fix that real quick before we continue on. We're going to go find the camera system. Go find our multiplayer camera setup and go find the actual camera here. And then underneath the camera, we can find the environment section. Remember, we've got a URP camera, so it's slightly different than the built-in one. We've got to find environment and change the background type from skybox to solid color. Use the color picker and just go pick that color. And ta-da, now we've got our nice, beautiful sky. All right, let's get back to our water. So here's our new water leveling game. It's a nice drop down from the cliff, and then we've got this little ledge that we can walk along. And now the goal here is going to be that when the bee gets to 50% health, this water rises up and starts flowing and pushing the player in one direction or the other, or you could even make it alternate directions. Since I want this to start when the bee gets to 50% health, let's begin in the take damage method. We'll do a check after we've taken some damage to see if our health is at exactly the 50% mark. So we'll say if underscore health is equal to, and now we need to figure out half of our max health. And right now we don't have a max health. If we look at our health, that's our only field. So this is the one that gets serialized, and it's the one that we use as our temporary variable. As a temporary thing so that we could see it and adjust it. Let's make a change now so that we have a maximum health and a current health instead. So the first thing we'll do is rename health to be current health. Find that it's a lot easier to understand which one it is if you put the word current there instead of just having a health and a max health. Then we'll delete that public keyword. I'm going to copy this line, just copy and then paste it right up here. We'll add a serialized field attribute and then replace this with max instead of current. So it's a max health, and I'm going to set it to 50 now. We don't want to necessarily set the current health right here. I want to make sure that's being set somewhere else. So I'm going to just remove that initialization and then do it down here in on enable when our character starts. So we'll say current health is equal to our max health. Now we can go back to our take damage and we can finish that check. So if current health is equal to, and here we'll do our max health divided by 2. So if we're at half health, then we want to start this flooding. To start the flooding, let's do a coroutine. We'll do start coroutine. And we are going to call this maybe start flood, but then we're going to need to stop a flood too. So let's maybe call this toggle flood. And then pass in a true. So we're going to turn the flood on, and then we'll be able to turn the flood off as well. Let's generate a method for toggle flood. Hit F12 to go to it, and then change that return type to be an IEnumerator. We're going to need a flag here that's better than V. Let's say enable flood instead of V for our variable name. For our initial implementation, let's just move the object or the water up or down 1 meter, depending on if we've enabled it. If we enable it, we'll move it up a meter. If we've disabled, we'll move it down. And that'll be our starting version of this. So let's say let's say var target water y equals, and if we're enabling the flood, we want to do our current y +1 or plus vector 2.up. And then if we were doing it down, we'd want to do -1. So we'll say it's equal to our, if we're enabling flood, it's going to be our transform.position.y +1. Otherwise, it'll be a transform.position.y -1. There we go. And then we'll just move our transform position to that. So we'll say we need not our transform though. We need our water's transform. So let's get a water reference. We'll add a public water _ water, and then we'll replace transform with water.transform.position. There we go. So this is going to give us our target y position for this new water. Then we'll set the water's position to that. So say water.transform.position equals a new vector 3, and we'll just give it our current position. So we need to give it our, water.transform.position.x, said the wrong words there, and then our target y, that's what we want. And then our water transform position z. All right, so that should instantly move our object up. But we're in a coroutine and we're not waiting for anything. Eventually, we're going to want this to go over time so that it floods up kind of slowly. So let's just add a quick yield return null. Go assign our water and make sure that works, and then we'll continue on. All right, we're back in Unity, so we'll assign that water transform to the water. It's actually a water object. And then save, and if I press play, I'm gonna have to go blast this guy 25 times to get his health down. So let's add a little shortcut. Down here at the bottom of our B encounter, let's add a method that sets our character or our B to half health. I'm gonna call this method half health. We'll call void half health. And then in this, we'll set our character's health. So say _ current health equals max health divided by 2. And then we'll just add 1. So current health plus. I could also say it equals max health divided by 2 plus 1, but this is a little bit easier for me to read. We'll add 1, and then we'll tell it to take damage. Not tack damage, take damage. So that it'll actually call the take damage method and go down to that exact amount of health. Now I want a context menu to be able to call this. So I'll say context menu and put in name of, and put our half health right here. Now I also kind of want to be able to kill this thing. So let's just copy this method and add a method for killing them as well. So say kill, and we'll change the method name here to be kill as well. And we'll set the current health to 1 and then tell it to take damage. And then finally, let's just do like a full health restore. So let's say full health, and I'll paste that in. And here we'll just set the current health to max health and do absolutely nothing. All right, now we'll go back into Unity. All right, and here's our water. We're in it. Let's move it up by moving that B. We'll say half health, and you can see the water pops up and gives us this nice risen water that's over the ground. All right, that's close to what I want. Let's make sure that we can now drop it down. So we'll say kill and see that the bee dies, but it didn't actually kill. It didn't get rid of the water, and it's still acting up a little bit. So let's go adjust that now. Let's go back into our bee encounter, and then when we take damage here, if our current health is less than 0, let's call the coroutine to turn the flood off. So we'll say start coroutine, toggle flood false. Now, I don't want to do this right here, because if I do this on line 161, look what's going to happen. Line 162 is going to stop that coroutine. So what I actually want to do is cut this, move it down one line here, and then remove that. So we're going to stop all of the existing coroutines. Those are the ones for moving and shooting. And then we're going to kick off the flood disabling coroutine when our bee dies. Let's save, go back in, and test it out. All right, here's our bee. Let's put it to half health. We see the water goes up. Bee should still be kind of flying around over here. And if I right click and kill the bee, he should fall to his death and the water drops back down. All right, this is looking good. I'm gonna go into plastic now, make sure that I've saved my scene and commit real quick. Added bee water that instantly raises and lowers. And check that in.